Welcome, everyone. My name is Jill Meadows, your service assistant today. And Frank Castro-Wehr, our minister, will let us know a little bit about what you're talking about today.
So it's the first Sunday of Advent, thus the Advent wreath. Thank you, Janae, for this beautiful wreath. Tell her when she comes. I think we'll have a different wreath each week. So thanks everyone who signed up for being creative for Advent. And the first Sunday is always about faith. Which that word gets used a lot. So we want to just kind of look at it a little bit, maybe in a bit of a different way. And the title of the talk is Faith. Who shows up? Who shows up in faith? Yeah.
And today our featured musician is J.P. Falcon Grady. Welcome back. And Cheryl, Hodge, and Kate. Thank you. Love the Christmas music.
Alleluia, 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 alleluia,
Thank you for that beautiful meditative music. Now, as we enter our time of prayer, feel free to speak aloud or in your heart anyone or anything you would like to have included in this prayer. Now let's just envision a warm, golden, glowing light encircling us and our loved ones. Feel this peace and healing and filling us and radiating through all of us. See this divine energy encompassing all beings and our entire planet. Take a deep breath in and accept this gift. And so it is. As we enter into a time of meditation, we'll take some more deep centering breaths and settle into our seats and settle into ourselves and settle into that sacred space within us. For this meditation together, I'll be reading selected sections from the Unity publication, Living Abundantly, Open to the Divine by Milena Dawn. For us, we reach out with our bodies and our senses, extending our energy beyond what we can physically feel. We engage heart and spirit to connect with energy and motion, becoming one with the unseen space. As we expand our aligned consciousness and heart into the infinite, our focus shifts. We blend with the air and the light. We feel nourished and loved, supported and uplifted. As we breathe, swim, and dance in the openness. We feel divine love calling into our true selves to continue the process, nudging us to reach, encouraging us to expand, merging into oneness with the source. We are the space between and the sparks of light, both spaciously empty and full of energy and potential. In the space of a breath, in the space between heartbeats, in the space it takes a brain synapse to fire and inspire, we move from the world of dense form into spaciousness. Here we access the allness of the divine. We may first turn within or choose to expand outward. But whatever we choose is simply a path to the same source. Entering this timeless space, we are renewed with energy, energized with the sparkle of possibility and hope. We can also rest in faith that the divine is positive, purpose-filled creativity and love. We move from ah to aha and can harness the sparks of light as divine ideas. Again, we can rest in faith that we are positive, purpose-filled creativity and love. Ah, aha, and so it is.
Grandma's hands clapped on church on Sunday morning. Grandma's hands played the tambourine so well. Grandma's hands used to issue out a warning. She'd say, JP, don't you run so fast. Might fall on a piece of glass. Might be snakes there in that grass. Grandma's hands, grandma's hands, grandma's hands. Soothe the local unwed mothers. Grandma's hands used to ache sometimes and swell. Grandma's hands used to cover her face and tell her, she'd say, baby, grandma, that you really love that man. So put yourself in Jesus' hands, grandma's hands. Mama, while you with that boy, what you wanna spank him for? He didn't drop no apple core, but I don't have grandma anymore. When I get to heaven, I'll look for grandma's hands, grandma's hands.
One of your songs? No. What a perfect pick for today. Ooh, we can use that one. It's the first Sunday of Advent, so we're going to light the first candle. And the first candle of Advent is for the power of faith. I had this sense of a journey, and for this Advent, thinking about faith and thinking about these different principles. And what came to me is this sense of seeing where I am at, and I offer this to you, kind of taking a check-in on sort of where your life may be unfolding in consciousness. We're talking about consciousness here, in consciousness. And one way to note sort of where am I on my journey is you could note, and what I've been noting is who shows up, and not only who shows up, but when they show up, what's my response to who shows up? What's my response to who shows up? So this idea of faith is interesting. In unity, the definition has to do with what I can hold in mind, what I can see in consciousness. I can express that into substance, and actually it shows up in my life. So there is a teaching. I've shared this over the years a number of times. It's sort of an anchor for me, so I want to bring it back for a second. That there is an evolution of consciousness. That's fixed. This is the great teaching. I mean, Fillmore's talked about this all the time, that we are on this evolutionary journey. It's not a static thing. It's a movement. It's a growth. I find out my personal evolution is 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, and another step back. Okay, you're laughing. You know what I'm talking about. Love to say, oh, I got there and stayed there. Maybe you do. But it does feel like as we move in consciousness, it feels like the path is cleared in a certain area. This is my experience. Oh, evolution of consciousness. I get this part. I'm there. I got it. And then life goes, okay, well, then try this one. And you're like, all right. Let me clear that pathway again. However, it does seem to me that as we understand this pathway, we understand this process, it gets quicker and cleaner and easier, and we see it quicker. There's a teacher, Tony Baum, George and I have been talking about this unity teacher I know, and he's mentor, and she talks about the sense of consciousness. It's third dimensional, and the way she describes it, there's a 4th dimension, which is beyond the seemingly world of matter, and there's a 5th dimension, and even beyond. Ken Wilber, your teacher, we talk about Ken Wilber a lot. He talks about it. There's this gross level of reality. Then there's a more subtle level. Then he talks about causal. And then you can approach this place of non-dual understanding. This is the evolution. This is the way that life is pulling us. It's like a river and goes, come this way. This is the game. This is joy. This is the fullness of your life is downriver. And that's towards this non-dual reality. And we can move in that way. The great unity teaching, which I have used many times, talk about it this way. There's the world of consciousness that we see everything through the lens of materiality. And then there's a bridge. There's a bridge to new levels of awakened awareness. It's called a metaphysical way, until we arrive at a place of of a mystic. And then from a mystic lens, we can move into mastery. And Charles Fillmore says, you are called to be a master. You're called to be a master. And then you read sort of the definition of these things. Yeah, but I'm just into this materiality. That seems like a long way. If these words are challenging for you, if you're like, why this is too many words, here's a story that might help. We know this story. Everybody knows this story. It's a story of a prodigal. It's a prodigal. There's a couple siblings, and one of them and they're in this. See, you can imagine it. This beauty of a story. What do you imagine? I always imagine like a villa where there's a lot of people and there's lots of food and it's just verdant and there's plenty and sufficiency is the name of the game and cooperation and community and it's just this lovely place. And the place has always seems to have a master. Maybe the master could be a person. It could also be a community. The community itself might be the place of mastery. It's in the community. I didn't think of this, but maybe it's grandma's house. Thank you for that image. Maybe this place is grandma's house. Maybe the master is grandma. Use your image. This is the beauty of these great stories of Jesus. And there's these four phases. There's the phase of matter, which they talk about, where this child of this great homestead says, I'm out of here. I want to go out and I want to make my fortune and I want to go play in the field of conflict. I don't know why we do this, but it seems to be the way of humanity. Let me go out and be in this area of conflict. And this is what we call the consciousness of matter. And it's made up of things like, it's all about winning and losing. And by God, I'm going to win. So I need more power and I need more authority. And I need to be one-upping each other. And if people show up in my life, it's either are you part of my friendship that we can win together, or are you someone I need to push apart and be one up over? There's a win-lose consciousness in this field of matter because there's never enough. There's never enough. It's defined by a field of lack and a field of there's never enough. And so therefore, I have to get mine, and good luck to you. In this field that I'm talking about, in this consciousness that, maybe you see that you felt that sometimes. You feel like it's easy to slip into this field, and you see people, and when people show up, you say, are you friend or foe? Here's the question. Are you friend or foe? And in this place, to create, it's like you think the field of faith is what I hold in mind. If I work hard enough and I struggle enough and I win the game, I might get and manifest what it is I want. Oh man, but that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to manifest because everything has to be through struggle and winning. And here's one of the crazy things I see about when we live in this consciousness is that even if I win and I win more and I win more money and I get hundreds of thousands and then I get millions, it's still not enough. I need hundreds of, and that's not enough. I need to be a billionaire. It's not enough. I got to have $1 trillion. When's enough? In this field of consciousness of win-lose, I can never win. Where does it end? It's this, and it's like, what did the Buddha say? It's like a hungry ghost. I just got to get more. I'm just not safe. Life in this field of consciousness is not safe. Life is against me. What did the great philosopher Thomas Hobbes said? Nature, it's just red in tooth and claw. It's just out to get me. We got to battle with nature. We got to battle with each other. It's exhausting. In the story of the prodigal goes away from this manor. He goes away from the Lord of the manor. In the medieval times, the Lord of the manor was called the Domine, the one we adore. Oh, I love that. The one we adore. I gotta leave that and I gotta go out and struggle. And it doesn't take long to this prodigal, this child goes away and goes, this stinks. This is a lot of work. This is win-lose, and I'm losing. And I'm eating the scraps of the table. I'm eating the same stuff the pigs are eating. You know the story. What am I going to do? And so the prodigal says it came to their senses and said, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go home. And I'll go home on my hands and knees. And I just want to be home. I don't need to be the heir. I don't need to be anything special. I just need to go. And here is the journey, what in Unity we called that when we get to the consciousness of the metaphysical consciousness, we start seeing things that there's a higher meaning. There's a deeper meaning. And this is when you read Carl Jung and you start reading about archetypes and the hero's journey, and you go, wait, it's not just this. There is a whole sort of understanding, an archetypal understanding that's at play here. I'm on a hero's journey. All of this actually, wow, it all had meaning. It's like, wow, when you get that archetypal, that metaphysical, that deeper meanings, everything you see, you start going, it has more to do than just what the material thing I think it has to do with. Everything is a possibility for growth. This is cool. So the prodigal heads home. And this is an interesting part of our journey in consciousness and our journey in growth. We're like on a bridge. And the interesting thing about being on this bridge, at any one time, it could get icy and we fall right back to you got to keep going. You got to keep going into this metaphysical journey. And then people show up on our journey when we're in this consciousness. And all of a sudden, instead of saying win, lose, or maybe this is a partner or someone got to beat or someone who's going to join me so we can win together, we start looking at like, wow, we're on this journey together. Think other people, we get in a relationship of win-win. It's like, wow, here we are. Dorothy and the lion and the scarecrow. Let's do this together. People are out, it's not just allies, it's just like we're on this journey together and we start getting this new consciousness. And then in the place of faith, it's interesting because then it's, mind, this place of faith where what we can hold in consciousness, what we hold in mind can manifest through divine substance, can manifest into our life. And all of a sudden, that gets easier. All of a sudden we noticed that I was in this field that didn't have to do with lack, and I started to experience sufficiency. And I stopped thinking that life was against me. It's like, actually, even when things are difficult, I can see that those are just pieces of this game of life that are flowing into my life. They're not my enemies, they're just part of the journey. And so we're on this whole journey. Do you feel this? You know where we're at, right? And you might know that, I went on that journey in my 20s. And I went on it again in my 30s. And I went and did it, and I did it again. And then there was this. And then this is, I'd love to say it's a one-time thing, but to me it seems like what nature teaches us, and then we do it again, and then we do it again, and then it's another year, and it's another season, and it's another cycle of life, and we clear, and we clear, and we clear. And what I find, it's just, this is the question I ask, well, what gets me out of if I find myself, once again, trapped in this matter thinking, of this win-lose thinking, of this, it's stuck. What opens the door to this metaphysical journey where I can start seeing deeper meanings? And Charles Fillmore said, we don't know. Let's call it grace. Let's call it grace. And it's always available, and we open to it, and the door opens, and we start this journey, and we start seeing everything in a deeper meaning. And then instead of win-lose, it's like win-win, but we're still sort of in the struggle. We're still sort of in this game. And we cross the bridge, and there's a new awakened awareness. And the Fillmore say, affirmations, denials, and meditation go to the silence, connect with that deeper thing that's not even, it's beyond the materiality. It's in this more subtle area of this spiritual area of our life where we start knowing things in a broader sense. And all of a sudden, win-lose and win-win, when we reach this state, it's not even a question. Here's the question in this mystical state. And when we get there, we just ask a simple question: how do I serve? How do I just show up in a sort of joy of like going, life is for me. This whole thing is for me. There was never anything against me. This is when this prodigal gets back to home. And it says he went to the domine, to the lord of the manor, however you read that, and this child falls on his knees and goes, look, I've been through that, and I don't want to go back. And you don't have to make me heir, and you don't have to claim me or anything else. Just let me come home, and I'm happy just to be here and serve. I'll be a servant. The prodigal says, I'll be a servant in the household, and I'll be fine with that. I'd rather be a servant here in this household than be out here in this nonsense of win, lose, and struggle and strife. And all of a sudden, and this is the stage of mystic. You think of mystics, Francis of Assisi, my namesake. You know, the great prayer, this Franciscan prayer is, make me a channel of peace. And where there's hatred, can I just sow love and injury, pardon, doubt, faith, despair, hope, darkness, light? Can I just be that? And what you find, what I have found is, in this stage of material, it's a lot about me, me, me. And when people show up in this metaphysical bridge, it's kind of like, how do you show up for me? How do you show up for me? How are we going to work together? And when I get to the mystic, I'm always saying, like, what do you need? Me drops away. And I get into the space of well, who are you? How can I serve you? Oh, you're interesting. What are you about? What about you? How can I be here for you? Listen, I've been there, and I am so happy to be home, and I'll just be a servant, but I'm good. I'm here. Life is full. Life is full of sufficiency. Abundance reigns, and I'm here, and I'm glad. And what do you need? Who are you? How do I, what are you about? How do I serve? Yeah. And so, and you wonder, well, where am I at on the stage of things? And when you meet, who shows up? And you think when we meet other people, I kind of, from this sort of conscious of watching myself, how am I interacting with them? Was I really here to serve? Or was I here to like win-win? Or am I like, oh, this is competition? And it's amazing to me when I find myself back here again. I'm like, ugh. Let's go this. And the nice thing is grace, divine grace, or you might think of it, the flow of divine evolutionary flow is pushing us this way. It's pushing us this way. This is what wants to happen. We got the wind at our back. We've got the flow pushing us this way. It's fun to struggle. Yeah. And so we see other people as ones we can serve. And in Unity, they talk about this final stage of consciousness. It's not final in that it's ultimately final. And what Unity teaches, that Charles Fillmore says, is when we reach this final stage, which is master, there probably is other stages beyond that. Jesus says, I'm going to go before you, and I'll prepare a place. And what comes after that, you're not ready to hear it yet. There's more. Okay. And someday, some way, some evolution of consciousness, we'll get there. But for this incarnation, and the way we understand it at this time and place, the sort of this pinnacle is to be at the state that a person like a Jesus was, master consciousness. And what's interesting in master consciousness, when you think of faith, what I can hold in mind, I can express into substance. You get to this place of Jesus where it's like, yeah, fill the jars with water. It'll be wine. Wouldn't that be nice? This is the promise. And each stage of faith, where what we hold in mind can manifest as we move on this journey, goes quicker and quicker and faster, and things start showing up. People. Now, I don't know about water to wine. That's a good one. But what I've experienced is, as we move through these stages, when people show up, this is a favorite phrase. I met this person. You wouldn't believe this could happen, but there they were. Have you said that? You wouldn't believe who showed up. I would just walk along and I saw this podcast, and oh my God, they just were talking about exactly what I've been thinking, the exact answer I needed, the exact information I wanted, the exact person who we needed to help with this issue. And we just opened to spirit. We said, we were the prodigal laying down. I just want to be a servant. I will be here. I'm more interested in the fullness of this. And what that leads to, and here's the last part of the story, is that Domine, the leader, the master of the house, says to them, get the ring, get the golden shoes, this person's got it. and invites him into the, and then the end of the story is what happens to this person, this prodigal. They're just blessed. And then it just leaves the story for you to write into your life. There was a person who showed up. So I always think about the people who show up. And I've been thinking all week, who shows up and who are they? Who are they? And when we stand in different places of consciousness, there was one time, I just want to end on this story. Diane and I went to Olympic National Park. And one of the things we like to do when we do these trips is we each give each other like an afternoon. Like, you do your thing, I'll do mine. We get. So my afternoon, I went up onto this trail. And I was way up on this trail. It was a pretty good trail. Then there was like a side trail. So I kind of up that trail, and I'm like way up, and I'm going up in the mountains, and it's like this. Do you know I've been up to Olympic National Park? It was foggy. It was like this old growth. It was so gorgeous. And I get up to that trail, and I hear a creek, and there's this other trail. I think it was a trail. And you know where it's like the you're getting scratched on your thighs because you're going through, I think it's a trail. And I'm way up there, and I get up, and there is this old growth. Oh my God, I was just, wow. And so I'm on this trail in the middle of Olympic National Park all by myself. And I started to do this chant. And it was a chant, I realized later part of it is to I praise you. We all praise you. We're all in adoration of you, Domine, of you, Master, of this Master conscious. We're just in this place. And I was chanting, and it goes something like this. Oh, adoramos te, Domine. So, and this was just this place I was in the quiet, and the creek was bubbling, and I just was like lost in this, like, can I just be in this state of connection? Let's see if you can learn this chant as well.
Adoramus te, Domine. Adoramus te, Domine. Again. Adoramus te, Domine. One more time. Adoramus te, Domine. Now, ooh. Now just hum it. Now just think it.
I was lost in that chant. And I was just leaning back with my arms open and connecting with that river, with that flow, with that day, with that sun. Just knowing this feeling, this presence of the divine manifesting throughout. And like the prodigal who comes back to home, to the Domine, to the Master, to the one, not the one external, but the one that that abides in our hearts. The very presence of the I am within you, within each of us, that I am consciousness alive in all nature and all that's around. And then after a while, I'd sung it, I opened my eyes way up in the middle of nowhere. And I looked to my left, and there was this runner. There was a woman with like 6 water bottles on her, scratched up and bloody from running through this deer trail. And she was just standing there going, I don't know how long she'd been there, but she just ran up in the middle of Olympic National Park, somewhere in a waterfall, and here's this guy singing this song. And I remember going, I looked at her, and we just looked at each other for the longest time. And I sort of stood back, and she just sort of walked along, and she did one of these things where she looked at me like, and I thought, who are you? How did we just conjure each other up in the middle of this park? What gift did you just bring to me? I mean, I felt like I just sang you up. I don't know what her story is. But can you imagine what she went by and told friends? You wouldn't believe it. I was running in the middle of a park. Here's this dude. Here's the interesting thing. I'll end on this. When you look at this literature, whether it's through Tony's work or Ken Wilber, the unity teachings, there's this sense when they say, when we get to the master consciousness, material consciousness, there's pages. The metaphysical transformation, the metaphysical bridge where we see the deeper meanings in things, there's pages. The mystic consciousness, there's a page. And when they try to explain the master consciousness, it's a paragraph. It's like there's not words, but you know it. You know it. Things in this level of consciousness start showing up in faith. Hold it in mind, imagination, connected to the one, this non-dual one, this oneness, this one place. Things start to happen. And you know it, especially in this master consciousness, when things happen so fast. And the great prayer to me is, you wouldn't believe what showed up. No limitations here, no lack. It's just sufficiency upon sufficiency upon sufficiency upon sufficiency upon what's needed is available. Life is your friend. Life is for you. Despite anything that you think happens, it's for you. It's for us. We switch in that consciousness. So leave you with this. As you go forward and see somebody at Unity or grocery store or on a trail, you might look at them and go, who are you? What's going on here? What's going on? And see it from master consciousness. See it from that place of life is for us. And this is good. We're showing up for the good. We're showing up for the good. Yeah. Try that this week. Let me know. Yeah, so it is. A few announcements, if I may. As you notice, our trees are up and they've got lights. That's all they have. And they're aching for some decorations. So, for those willing, we have 1, 2, was there a tree out front? 2? There's 4. We have 4 trees that want to get some decorations. And you get to do what you want within bounds. You get to do whatever you want. There may be some QC. Okay, be careful saying that. Have fun. Find somebody or some buddies and pick a tree and, let's decorate them. So as soon as the service is over, we're going to be decorating some trees. So please stay after for just a hot minute for that. You might have seen we have from Unity, I used to say from Unity Village as opposed to Unity Worldwide Ministries, but now we're all just one. You guys knew that. We can talk more about that. Unity about a month ago combined. And so what was 2 organizations, the ministries and the village, the headquarters, is now one Unity. So Unity, that's all of us, has put out, calendar. They put out booklets. You might have seen when you picked up your guide, but grab a calendar as you go, Unity annual calendar. And then, by the way, December 10th, something we've been doing here, which I want to invite you to, but also consider bringing some friends or some people who might need this. It's our Loss and Light. And as the Christmas season comes and it gets dark and, there are a lot of stuff sometimes before we get into the ho-ho of it all, let's take a moment and reflect on there's this other component of the dark and in winter, and come and just light a candle for what we may have lost, and also for the light that's assured to support us in the midst of all that. Our Loss and Light service, it's Wednesday, December 10th. And then finally, you might have seen our video, but let's reprise that for a second, because a very special event's coming up. Our board president, Rosemarie, and our board member, Jane McLean Fackler, don't leave out the McLean yet, have just a quick announcement, which they've been rehearsing for all of, did you rehearse it at all? No.
Greetings, everyone. We have a beautiful home here made up of all you beautiful people. And we invite you, when you're out looking for gifts, choosing gifts, special gifts for all your friends and loved ones, we invite you to remember us on Giving Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. And there's so many things that we want to continue to do here. As you can see, so many things that we've enhanced, we've improved, and we have more to do. And Jane's going to tell you some of those.
Oh, well, yes. We are envisioning a new flooring. Take a look at it around. It would be wonderful to have a new flooring and new windows, possibly. So those are those things. And then we have lots of people who are just feeling the creation of a youth program. We don't know what it's going to look like and the ages of the youth, but we are envisioning that. So your gifts at any time, and December 2nd, but we'll take gifts anytime you're ready to give them, will help support those visions.
And don't forget Sunday snacks. And just to let you know today, for everyone who's staying to help decorate, we have a plethora of snacks today. So please participate. And we thank you very much for all your gifts, everything that you can do to give monetarily and physically. We love you all and appreciate everything you do to make this such a beautiful family. Have a great afternoon.